Hello, hello. Sorry about that. I have no idea why that decided to suddenly stop working. Welcome. Forgive the change in setup. I've obviously trying to look at just improving the stream quality and such. And a step in the right direction with that is I've disabled my background, just so you can see. Here's my usual background. I will do some kind of bits and bobs. But for those who watch on YouTube, welcome. This is always a live stream that I end up doing. The way I kind of do my videos is I pretty much just go as if it's a live stream. In this instance, it actually is a live stream. But most of my videos that I end up doing are pretty much some type of live stream thing. And then if I can, I'll chop it all down. But yeah, hopefully today's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be looking at how do you actually do an orchestral mock-up. Or, well, not even necessarily an orchestral mock-up, just a mock-up of a track so that, you know, if you want to do a cover of something and get really, like, make your own version of something, where do you even start? Like, what task is ahead in terms of doing that? So, yeah, I'll kind of going into that in some detail. Not got a massive amount of time today, so I'll try and kind of make some progress. And I might have to do some funky stuff with transposing of the song so I don't get into the copyright strike and such. But in my defense, I want to make a different version of the original track that I'm going to be covering today. So that being said, when I look to kind of do the actual Cubase and production stuff, I'll hide the background so you get a little bit more screen real estate, just so I'm not kind of, people don't want to be looking at me, they want to be looking at what I'm actually doing. So yeah. That being said, I will swap back over to this one. So you got a little bit of desktop and just shimmy that over. I have no idea. Yeah, for some reason my camera it's decided to zoom in a very strange location. So let me just fix that very quickly. Oh, that's the wrong way. And then we'll do a little bit of zoomies there. Nothing too special. Super. And then I'll just get rid of the background for you. Bam. So yeah, you see it looks a little bit strange, but I'd rather have a bit more of the the background and what's going on the desktop. All right. So what we're doing, let's jump straight in then and get Cubase rocking and rolling. So here we have, oh, we've not got any cam for some reason. Let me just make sure I've got some webcam action for the keys. 2 seconds. Not sure why that's decided to not work. There we are. Sorry about that. That's a little bit better. And I'm not even going to bother. You can see some of this behind the scenes magic there. Who cares? I'm really not bothered. And we'll just get that over here so you can see some keys and stuff. Apologies. So, yeah. So the way this will work is I've already got a track preloaded. All right. Sorry, just get rid of some of this stuff on here. There we are. So I've already got a track preloaded. This is from an anime. It's really, someone's going to be sat there going, oh, cringe. Please don't. Music is music, you know, like, but yeah, this is from an anime called Fairy Tail. There's going to be some people that know it, some people that don't. Really lovely mix of guitars, orchestral elements. One of my favorite tracks. I have covered it once before, but I'm going to kind of do it from scratch. So the absolute first thing you would do is you would import the track that you want into your DAW. So whether it's Cubase, whether it's something else, just get it in the project. So first thing I've done here is I've obviously got it in. And yeah, that's half the battle. I'm going to just transpose this, and before I even do anything, what I'm going to try and do is get it lined up so that the start of the song lines up roughly. And I say roughly, so we're looking at this top section here. Let's, there we go, make that full screen for you there. So, sure I can bring that back up. Yeah, just make that roughly line up with the start of the bar here. So you see, here's where the kind of like all the little rises and things like that will come in, and then we've got the hit there. So, got to play that. Let's see what the volume's like. It is transposed, so it'll sound a little bit strange. Lovely. I love like fusion and orchestral rock mixes. Massively into like prog rock and all that stuff. So let me just fix my mic for a second. So yeah, absolutely love this track. And yeah, it's one of my favorites. A lot of music like this, some people look at and go, oh, really not interested, but lots of stuff to unpick with it. Before you do anything, you're going to have to sync it to your project. So you can see lots of hand stuff going on. Forgive me. But yeah, in order to get this synced up, you either have to listen and be good with your ears. So you count it as it plays. So let's try what that would sound like. So you kind of got to feel the rhythm for it. So for me, there's this lovely guitar note, bum, and then it changes into the next one, bum. Very defined transition of how I'd like the structure is. So if I counted it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, and so on, and so on. Guess what we can do then? We either manually, and I say manually, you get it like this. So I'm cheating here because you already know what the tempo is. But let's say I had my project load up at 120 BPM. So you're going to drag it and adjust it. Make sure you've turned like snapping and stuff off so you've got full control over your dragging like this. And just put your click on and start playing. You'll instantly know if it's close or not. Million miles away that, isn't it? So is it too fast? Is it too slow? Well, listen to it. You know, like if you used to count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That's kind of what's clicking there. What's the song doing though? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. It's slower, isn't it? So some people, such as myself, can get quite close and then just dial it in. You might not have a clue. If it's the first time you're doing it and you're like, I really want to cover a particular song, you might genuinely not have a clue. So just trial and error. It can be as simple as just slowly lower that tempo down. So I'm just using my little rolling mouse, mouse wheel rather. Rolling mouse isn't a thing. And I'm just lowering the tempo. Now what you'll see, as I lower the tempo, do you see how the track's adjusting? So make sure that if you are adjusting the tempo, you might need to give it a little bit of a nudge. Try it without nudging it. So I'm going to bring that to 114. Turn the click on. Very close. It's in time for the first 2 beats of that. So it's, well, other thing to clarify, I should say. Not every song is dead easy like this in terms of the structure. So this song is very clearly in a 4/4 structure. If you sat there thinking, good heavens, what are you even talking about, you absolute imbecile? There's 4 beats in the bar, right? So listen to it. It's quite clearly defined. So if I tell you there's 4 beats and then it's the next bar, just listen for it. One, 2, 3, 4, so on. You can get strange rhythms, so you can have like 3, 4. So that's like a kind of waltzy thing, I think. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's like a waltzy rhythm. It's pretty straightforward. It may change though throughout the song. I don't think it does from memory, but just something to be aware of, because depending on what piece of music you're working with, it might start in a really complex rhythm and then go into a normal one, or, you know, it's another musical device you can play with. So yeah, I know it's in 4/4. Got it synced up. First 2 hits are right. Okay, so let's keep lowering it then. So 111. Let's go again. Very close. Rather than being in sync for 2 beats, we've got a good few bars there. You know, you could even say like close to 10 seconds or so of it being in sync, and then it kind of slowly drifts out. So you either then need to make sure that you've got this bang on at your start points and see if it stays in tune, not in tune, in time for the rest of it. Click is almost racing ahead now, so this is when we start just lowering it by 1 more again. I think I just need to adjust the start time on that, and it should be close. Yeah, shift it up slightly. This might be too forward. So that's looking good. The other way of doing it, and this is how, like, when you get quite good at it, I'm going to show you the 2 ways, but that's the kind of more methodical, strategic way of doing it. Some people, myself included, can just look at a waveform like this and line up the hits. So I'm not going to go into like the wave editor because I'm mindful not every software looks the same. But you've got these lovely squares and your grid that you're looking at the top. I can pretty much correlate every big hit to landing within that grid. Do you see? So like if you look at 7, when you zoom in like this, you don't actually get a whole lot of info. But when you zoom out slightly, it's almost easier when it looks like that, doesn't it? Need to sneeze, apologies. Oh, excuse me. It's still kind of keeping So let's keep jumping ahead. Yeah, it looks like, even at bar 33, let's jump straight into this. It's still in time. So pretty much bang on where we need to be there. Sometimes it's one or two kind of beats out, but 110 BPM on this one. Cool. So now I can actually start listening and analysing it. Now, I'm not going to sit and pretend that that I know everything, because I absolutely do not. There's a million and one ways of doing something. And the only reason I do what I do is to just show people stuff, not to kind of say that I'm the best at anything. I'll tell you quite openly, my musical journey started very late in my life, that, like much later than I'd like it to be, rather. So, there's so many things that people know and then kind of like don't share. So yeah, please don't ever think that I pretend to be someone that's really like knowledgeable about everything. Absolutely not. Just sharing my experiences for the love of it, really. But yeah, so there's two ways then of approaching this. The awful way of saying this is you're either a musician or you're not. Can you become a musician? 100% yes. I think everyone's got musicality within them somewhere. But if you're an actual musician, what you're probably going to do is be sat with your guitar or sat with your keyboard or whatever instrument you've got, and probably try and play along a little bit to figure out some of those notes. So if I just swap very briefly into keyboard cam. That's not my keyboard cam. It's because I'm experimenting with this new setup, but fine. I will play about that in a moment. Okay, so obviously I've got my keyboards here. I know what key this is in already. How do I know what key it's in? A lot of it's through experience, because I am an actual musician. Not necessarily a good one, mind you, but I can pick up notes and play by ear, which is really handy. If you don't have a clue, then it's really difficult. So I'll show you how do you get to that point. Well, let's just listen to the notes. What am I doing there? You might be going, oh, you seem to just dial that quite quickly. Listen to the bass notes. The bass notes, it's very rare you're going to have a bass note that does not belong within a key somewhere. Like, or it's not, sorry, that sounded silly. What I meant to say, you have to forgive me. Your bass note normally will help you cement what key you're in, because you're not really going to play a bass note that doesn't belong to the key you're in, basically, because it's one of like the fundamental rhythmic things that ties a piece together, right? So in here, then I hit the track itself is in D. Because I've transposed it, it's actually in D flat or C sharp, however you want to go for it. The entire piece revolves around that. So listen for it, yeah? Let's bring this down slightly. Played the wrong note there, you can instantly go, ooh, doesn't quite sound nice. So what can I do then? Well, I know, okay, so I've got a C sharp or a D flat, the E, got a B there, an A, and then back. Helps you narrow down what key you're in. If you're completely lost at this point, if you're watching this on the VOD, you're going to struggle because you need to know a little bit of basic music theory, because you're going to sit there and go, well, how on earth do you know that it's then this particular key, right? And I'm just trying to have a little think. It's probably... I have all sorts of cheat sheet documents. This is one of my many things that I made for myself when I was learning music. Circle of fifths. This is quite interesting. It's not very often I get to do something really interactive, but I'll always have resources somewhere. As much as my brain's a sponge, these types of things, that's a circle of fifths, helps you kind of quickly, at a glance, understand, okay, where am I going? What am I doing? So, yeah. For me here, I've also got then resources like this. So I'm going to use this as a... Yeah, you know what? I will just put this up to the screen like that. I think that's visible, mostly. So I had a C note. Sorry, not a C, it was a D flat or a C sharp. An E. B. And then an A. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, well, the other thing that's got a D flat in here is a D flat major at a glance. The D flat major, G flat major, and yeah, that's it really. It's not a D flat major though, because D flat major, if you have a quick look, again, appreciate this is, for someone who watches this who actually knows, this is probably painful, but assume that we know nothing. The D flat major, which is, oops, this line here, sorry my arms aren't long enough, it's got an E flat in it. See, second note, D flat and then E flat. There's no E flat in that riff, so it's absolutely not D flat. Oh, well, you're stuck then. What do you do? Is it actually in a minor key instead? Sounds like it, doesn't it? And I can't spend so much time looking at the music theory element with you, unfortunately. But yeah, there's a really logical way of being able to figure things out. And it comes down to understanding and knowing scales. And then, yeah, piecing the two things together. If that was really difficult for you and you're like, oh my God, that's completely blew my mind, just have a little look at some basic music theory. Honestly, all right. I'm not going to try and teach someone it because, to be honest, not my strong point. As much as I'd love to show people, not my strong point. So, yeah, key-wise, we're in some type of minor key, C sharp. I'm going to say it's like, what, C sharp minor, D flat minor, or is that D flat minor? No, it is C sharp minor, yeah. And then C sharp minor's got, I'm just looking at, I've got a handy little thing above my monitor there. We've got 4 sharps. There we are, so that's what key we're in. If you're like, oh my God, that was absolute nonsense, don't worry about it. Really do not worry about it. You can still plonk away and put notes in without knowing what key it's in. And actually, I'll just go full screen on this a second. But yeah, like, when you get to the higher realms of like music theory, the rules pretty much are meant to be broken. There's a reason that they're there, but like with a lot of orchestral composers, they won't just stick to one key. You know, actually, they'll probably start off quite chromatic and go between a few ideas. And then, you know, once you've got some type of structure and idea, you might hone in on a particular thing then. But yeah, if you don't know it, please don't think that like you can never learn it and understand it. It gets quite complex quite quickly, but the fundamentals are quite basic actually. So yeah, all right. So let's then go back to desktop. Let's get some actual sequencing done. So sequencing, what is that? It's actually the art of getting the notes booked in. So loads of different elements there. I'm just going to get the bass notes in, just so I've got something to work off. So I've got a template here below. I'm just going to find some like basses and cellos and things. I know there's guitars and all sorts in here, but let's unmute these. Now, what do you do? Is it easier? Again, I have to apologize because I'm trying to be as inclusive as possible, but do you write the notes in, like draw them in with your pencil or whatever it is you're doing, if you're on Fruity Loops or something like that, like, or, you know, in the DAW? Or do you actually play it in if you've got a MIDI keyboard? The beauty of playing it in is you can get an accurate velocity input in, even if you're absolutely rubbish at playing. You don't have to be good at playing to sequence. It's handy to still try and play it in personally, because the one thing that's quite difficult when you come to the land of sequencing and creating performances is getting it to sound human and realistic. The way that you make it sound human and realistic is playing like a human. So if you actually play it in and it's all over the place, actually, if anything, you're at least making it sound realistic, as opposed to inputting every single note. Let's go full screen there. You know, if I import every single note on here with a pencil, make sure I've got quantizing and snapping on. If I start drawing in notes, I'll look at the articulation in a second. I think it was every, I think these are all full steps, yeah. So it was C, E, and then B, or it's something like this. Oops, right. Is this transposed as well? No, it's not. Sorry, it was C. Gosh, I'm such a smooth brain at times, apologies. Shift all that up one. Here we go. And then it goes up. I'm literally just doing that by ear. Have a listen. The whole thing just repeats. It's one of the loveliest and most simplest bass lines ever. So what I'm going to do is just double that up. Sorry, not double it up, repeat it. I'm going to drop it. I'm going to just change the articulation style on this so it's a little bit less vibrato. Legato's fine because that makes it sound melodic. But what I want to do is bring down this vibrato so it sounds more drony rather than more melodic. That's better. And then what I can do is double that up with the other bass. Okay. I'm going to carry on duplicating that. And then it stops at bar 12. Okay. I'll stop it there and then chop this bit off. It's good to do, whilst you're going through it, if you can, to kind of put some type of structure markers in there. So, you know, you've got a very well-defined, here's when the song starts. Song starts. That's. And then bar 12 is like a little interlude section, which is pre-verse A. How long does that last? Bar 16 is then your actual verse. And it just helps. Like, I'm not going to, again, I cannot do the entire song because I've not got enough time in this particular session, but that helps you kind of keep a track on where everything is as well. So, got the first section in there, that's the bass, up until, yeah, bar 12. What else is going on? There's this lovely little melodic line, isn't there? I've not played it in this key before, so you're getting the full-on realistic experience here. So it's... There we are. So, what can you do then? Well, we're going to do... I could play that in. I have to be honest, I'm completely sprawled all over. I should use this really, but I've unplugged it to get this additional camera working, so I've done myself out of a smooth performance there, but it's fine. I will show you then. Lots of different elements to that melodic line, isn't there? It's not like super straightforward. It is in one sense, but it also isn't. So what I'll do is I'll actually draw it in. So it does start at bar 0. I've just picked a string instrument. Going to go for some type of short articulation, sorry, because it's quite quick. And I'm going to try it in fourths to start with. So it's... and just play the first 4. Far too slow. So what is it going to be then? It's going to be 8ths, 16ths. Once you've done it enough times, you'll know straight away whether a note's in an 8th or, you know. So the first note sounds right. Second note sounds alright, but the rest of it sounds super quick. So... there you go. So you see, it's not like a just straightforward thing in terms of like the note duration. That's what makes it interesting. If all these notes were just 16ths and just going something like that, it wouldn't have that same quality that it does and makes it so kind of catchy. Might need to go one higher because... try that. It's close, but not quite right, is it? So just shimmy these notes along one. Do-do-loo-do-do-do-loo. It's missing. It might actually just be that. And then repeats, yeah? Ooh. Not quite. There we go. Now it's important, if you want to turn this type of stuff into sheet music, that you get the note lengths spot on. Because if you leave it like broken like this, it makes, if you turn it into sheet music, it's like, oh, there's a rest there. When actually, no, it might be a sustained note. So just make sure you do keep it tidy if that's what you end up doing. Changes there, yeah. So let's listen. Goes doo-doo. So it's... So I'm really kind of butchering this on purpose so you can kind of feel the notes and you just know if they sit right. And if you kind of sat there going, I'm not hearing it, do a tiny bit of music theory, like listen to some songs and just try and play along with them. And you'll know normally, you know, if I'm playing, or trying to play notes that aren't in the key. These notes aren't in there. So if I try and force them in, it doesn't sound right. You'll just hear it. Nice. Now I'm going to copy that over again. So it changes on, this is a completely new measure, isn't it? Let's get rid of my noisy, rumbly cellos and stuff. And boost that up a bit for you. So it goes dee-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. So it kind of flips the melody on its head a little bit. So it starts here. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah. Ooh, very close. It's very close. Oops, forgot to unloop that. So you can hear the wrong notes straight away. I think it's like that, but the spacing is going to be wrong, or the timings. Something like this. Bam, nailed it. Now, someone's going to accuse me of cheating there. Yes, I do know the song, but when you're doing something in a different key, you might even hear the rhythms and stuff the same. But you're having to almost re-hear it and relearn it. So, yeah, please don't think that 100% is genuinely me just trying to plonk it in manually rather than playing it. Because if I was playing it, it'd be more cheating because I've kind of got like muscle memory for it. So writing it in, last time I wrote or did a cover of it, I actually just played it in rather than sequencing it. So let's listen to it without the backing. It's very close. There might be like one or two notes that are slightly off, but I could fix those in another video. I'm just going to carry on trying to get stuff in so I get the vibe of it. Right, this is a great time to stop and have a little natter. But that being said, I'm going to hold you on that suspense for a moment and be right back in exactly 2 minutes. Right, yeah, apologies for that. So, suspense. What is the problem with that? Listen to it again. One note slightly off on the rhythm line, but listen to the bass, yeah? I'll loop it. The bass is off, isn't it? Now, let's look into that. The actual line, when it's wrote in, is spot on. It's time-wise, it is fine. But because it's quite a complex sample library that's being played, so this is the BBC Symphony Orchestra one. The more complex libraries, keyboard just went, the more complex libraries, they have like a delay built into them. So if you program it to be completely exact, it's all going to sound slightly off because there's like a 30 to 40 second millisecond delay on the sample playing between when you start playing it. So you've got to offset for it, and there's two ways of doing it. We'd either export this to audio, which I will show you how to do that very quickly. So again, try to not use hotkeys where I can, just whilst I'm doing tutorial stuff. Render. I could have just rendered one, but whatever. So here's our audio. And what I could do is actually just shunt it all slightly forward. Because this is the exact thing here, and I hope this really does kind of bring home like why it sounds the way it does. You see that little tail? It's almost like a rat's tail thing. That's the... It started playing, but it's not hit the full kind of bit. So that's why it sounds then delayed. And of course, it bleeds through. So if you look then at bar 1, look where that line intersects. It then, the release kicks in, and then the new note starts. So this is only really when you start hearing it sound delayed. Sorry, get rid of the backing just for a moment. But you can literally see it, like it just falls off, doesn't it? So you could either manually compensate it like this. And again, this really only applies to like the more complex sample libraries. So I'm going to shift that way. Still a little bit, but yeah. That's one way of how you can compensate it. The other way is using Cubase. Right at the top left here, I need to kind of click on some type of assistive tech tool to show you, like, when I click on my mouse, it highlights it up. But I can put a track delay on. So I think for Spitfire, it's about 30 milliseconds behind. So if I put this on those tracks, if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll have seen, at least with Spitfire, this is the thing. still a little bit there, isn't it? And it potentially even needs to go further back. There's something just to be really careful with, like all the complex sample libraries, they're good, but they have a massive flaw, which is, yeah, they have a lot of delay a lot of times. Try instrument by instrument, because I've got two of them going, so they might be throwing each other off. Let's go wild and put it at -70, just so you get a true flavour for what it sounds like. Weirdly, that sounds way more, that's the most in time it sounds. So let's roll with it, -70. I'll need to research as to why that's so delayed, because some of the patches are quite quick, like Mercato-y style ones. The way it's played is it'll come in quite quick and then taper off. So anyway, not going to bore people that don't want to know about that. So bass is in there, that string line is in there. Let's flesh that out. So it's going to dupe that up. Let's put it an octave higher. Dupe it again. Do an octave lower, doing a little bit of orchestration here. See what that sounds like. Let's get another layer in there. Slightly lower still. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to move some of those then onto the upper section for the woodwinds. I might even get a piccolo in there. Stuff it, why not? Let's chuck some piccolos and flutes in. This is just to give you the kind of flavour of it, yeah? You wouldn't just sit and, oh, just duplicate everything, you're done. You're starting to feel it a bit more, aren't you? So I'm going to swap these around. Flute is going to come down an octave. Sounds pretty decent, right? And you can build and build and build, and before you know it, you've got the entire thing sounding realistic. But what's happening here? A mixing short kind of plays, short note, and then you've got melodic notes. Melodic versus. Didn't play the exact same thing. Apologies. The shorter notes normally, it depends on how they play, add a bit of attention and stuff. So what I'm going to do in this instance is I'm actually going to use the exact same lines, but I'm going to then add some legato ones as well. I'm going to keep the shorts as well, which is unrealistic, but the shorts give it a nice attack, so it kind of cuts through quite quickly. So I'll do a little bit of a mixture of the legato-y, melodic-y section with that bit. See what that sounds like. I think would help if the timings are right. Try again. And just to give you an idea what that sounds like with the violins, wherever they are, here they are. Now the actual track, it's got either a hurdy-gurdy or something in it. I don't think I have a hurdy-gurdy, not going to lie. So, yeah, it's probably going to be as good as it sounds for the time being without me doing some kind of creative sampling as such. But, yeah, already. Now, did you hear that beep beep? Like it just goes off. Why does it do that? Do you think? Well, because the thing that I said beforehand about keeping the MIDI tidy, I broke my own rule there, so that's why it sounds a bit strange. So, pays to kind of see. I'm gonna have to do that for the same thing. Now, luckily, that section was very lazily just copied over, so I can very quickly. Oops. Can query. Oh my God, words! I can very quickly fix that, and then repeat it. Now, if you're just using this like little ostinato thing, this riff, hook, whatever you want to call it, and nothing else. Whoops, keyboard just went. What would you do? It gets boring quite quickly, doesn't it? Well, that's where you then be interesting with how you play it. So maybe you keep it some bits low, and then you kind of, rather than having this, a bit more screen real estate, rather than having it this big wall of just the same stuff, you can kind of do a little bit more like this and have it so maybe this bit is slightly lower and in the left ear, and this bit is then slightly higher in the right ear. Yeah, so let's just listen to these two as an example. Sounds boring on its own, appreciate that, but if you then interweave the opposite within there, so let's say, what I'm trying to get to is basically doing like call and response. So I might play a and then the other bit go. Oh, sorry, not that. And it's like having a conversation between the two parts, and it makes it interesting, like so interesting. Most of my like favorite pieces of music have some type of like this back and forth between like different instrument sections, or it might be even like guitars and stuff. You know, dueling banjos and all sorts of like. There's really loads of really cool rock songs where you'll have like a guitar part that comes in, and then the bass will riff off it, and then they'll go backwards and forwards. Or if you're fortunate enough to be like in a prog world where you've got multiple guitars, Dragon Force, not saying it's prog, it's definitely not, but Dragon Force used to have like this whole back and forth melodic, like actual battle solos, right? It's very cool concept, and it's a really basic one fundamentally, but yeah. So that's that. What it's really missing is the percussion, isn't it? So let's have a listen to that very quickly. Mindful of time. Apologies. Obviously, there's a big, fat, dirty guitar in there that I will absolutely play. That's going to be a separate video. Sorry to break the news there, but it's going to be a good one. Promise you. But drums, it really need the drums. So let's look to see if I've got 5 minutes. Great. Can I get a drum kit in 5 minutes? Very doubtful, but certainly going to try. So I'm going to find a contact one that I've got. Get contact 8, and I've got just like Studio Drummer or something. It's really basic. Studio Drummer. Let's just whack this in. Honestly, not the greatest plugin in the world, but excuse me, for like sketching and just getting stuff in, absolutely will do the trick. And then what I want to do in future videos is not just do a cover of this track. I want to then do an arrangement of it. And this is the thing to kind of, again, I'm trying to not waffle, but I'm doing a terrible job. But the thing with this is, don't just make a cover. If you're going to do this, make it your own thing. You know, like, and how do you make it your own thing? Well, maybe don't play a part that should be played and do something weird and wonderful with it. You know, like loads of different things. So yeah, back in we go. Drum kit. Great little drum kit. I'm going to put it into pop mode. If you know how to do finger drumming. You could do finger drumming. Can't really see my other side there. You can see my OBS, but whatever. You could do that. If you're not skilled at finger drumming at all, then guess what you're going to have to do? Learn how to program drums. I could do an entire video on that, but fundamentally what I'm going to listen for is the kick drum, yeah? Two big things happening there. You've got a kick, every single beat, like that, boom. You've also then got every single hit together. That's what adds to the tension. So let's see what notes those are on. On the C, right? I know they're played together, so I'm just going to do a big fat. Together. There's a snare hit there. We'll capture that in a moment. Don't worry about matching the tone just yet. That bit's pretty straightforward. Let's carry on going. It's like a hit here, and some toms. Gonna go with that. Might be not that one, but gonna just get rid of those for a sec because I want to actually hear that drum bit. So I'm literally like, as this goes along, hit, and then I'm gonna just like, that's kind of what's going through my head. Hit. Second cymbal hit here. Now, is that next hit a tom or a snare? I don't know. And then another kick drum. Something like that. Oh, it's a double doo-doo like that. So and then pretty straightforward after that point. So kick, snare. Something like that. Oh, might be is that a tom or a kick? Ooh. I think it's kicks. I think that's it, you know. And then there's a lovely something coming in on the top end, which I'll look at in a sec. Yeah, that's kind of the bread and butter of that rhythm, isn't it? And then next, the big crash hit comes in. And in between these hits, we got coming in. Now, is it an open hi-hat or is it some type of tambourine? You could probably do either, to be honest. Something like this could work. That'll work quite nicely. I'll look at the velocities in a bit. It's obviously not an open hi-hat though, is it? Do I have a tambourine? I don't think there's a tambourine in there. Oh, there is. Hey, okay. Nice. I'm going to double that up with a hi-hat. You wouldn't always do that. I think we've pretty much got that bang on there. There's no crash coming in. Bit boring actually. I'm expecting a bit more like oomph, and it's just not coming. I'm used to like some proper metal drum riffs where it's like every bar there's like probably 8 crash cymbal hits and then a drum fill and then bam into second bar. That is actually so boring that, I'm sorry to the original composer, you're never going to watch this video, let's be real. But what I could easily do to tart this up is lots of exciting like drum hits and things. Like this. And then come in with like, yeah, loads of things you can do. And, you know, get creative while I do it. Don't just do a cover. Let's just do the full thing. And then I will have to go, unfortunately. And I will continue doing this, hopefully on another video. Because I'll be quite keen to get it all mapped out. I enjoy doing this type of stuff. Get rid of the backing. That going. It's got the feel, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things missing. And then it goes into that other section. What is missing that we could just quickly add in? Besides the guitar. Next video. I know what's missing. The chords. So, the chords, use your bass line, guys. Use the bass line. We know for a fact that these are your root notes of your bass, your harmony. So, you can copy it. Add your first, your third, and your fifth. Need to obviously bring that up quite a few octaves. It's not down in the dumps. I honestly think this will add quite a bit to it. It needs the fifth thing in there. There you go. Oh, it sounds so much better, doesn't it? Now, there is a little nuance that's happening with the bass as well that I've not covered, which it doesn't do the same riff over and over again. It actually has a variation in it in part 2. But so try this. I'm going to copy that and put it an octave higher because I want some kind of upper little swells and stuff. Listen to this. You can just hear it, can't you? So let's try that again. I know the drum kit is a little bit weak. And that's then where I need to add a bit of variation, right? So these two riffs come in slightly higher octave, hopefully. Make sure the woodwind's still going. It is not. Very, very... Pick on piccolo, maybe. There you go. Okay, one final playthrough. And there you go. Appreciate it's pretty basic, and I've not got enough time today to kind of keep fleshing that out, so I'm trying to switch to, yeah, there we go. Let's get the background back on. It looks a bit strange when this, there we are. So yeah, hopefully someone somewhere finds that really useful. I will continue working on that because I want to do a full cover of that because it's one of my favourite songs ever. It's just so good. I've done metal arrangements of that. So much I've done with it. But yeah, I kind of want to do it all again with like all my plugins and just have fun with it and kind of document it and really just hopefully show someone like, there's this song I really want to learn, but how do I do it? And just go through it. That being said, if anyone watches this VOD, which I know there's quite a few people that seem to just chuck it on and leave it in the background, but please leave a comment if you can. If you're on a TV or something, I get it. But yeah, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. You know, subscribe if you want more type of this stuff because I love doing it. Whether it's just me waffling about nonsense, hopefully someone somewhere enjoys it. That's it, really. So yeah, thank you very much and have a lovely day wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one.